Disclaimer, I am not speaking on behalf of all men and women. Not all men and women act, think, and do things this way. I am going to be generalizing a little bit because there are people that do act like this, so it doesn't apply to every individual, just know that. And I do understand that men have double standards as well, and I would gladly make a video on that. But in this video, we're going to talk about the double standard when it comes to sex between men and women because of this recent scandal news that came out. It's your girl Joy, back with another video, and so today we will be talking about rapper T.I. and his daughter Deja Harris and how he checks her hymen. A lot of people like to formulate what they think I think and believe from my commentary videos, so I'm going to tell you what I'm not arguing for. I'm going to outline that right now. What I'm not arguing for in this video is for parents to raise their sons and daughters the same. What I'm not arguing for is for women to be sexually liberated outside of marriage. What I'm not arguing for is that a virgin is more valuable than a non-virgin. What I'm not arguing for is that all men demand or desire virgins. I've had a hard time putting my thoughts on paper. I have it's like several pages long. This is gonna be part of like a 3-4 video series that I'm probably gonna do. So I'm gonna try my hardest, I've calmed down a little bit. I'm gonna try my hardest not to show emotion because there are some people out there who won't listen to a woman because she's emotional or shows emotions and therefore irrational, and whatever she has to say is not valid. So I don't want to be discredited for that. So we're just gonna stay emotionless. So if you didn't know, basically T.I. the rapper takes his daughter, he admitted to taking his daughter Deja Harris to the gynecologist every year, and she's 18 by the way and in college, to check if her hymen is still intact, aka checking if she's still a virgin. Well, in the same podcast that he admitted this, he also said that virgins are not fun and that they are a lot of work. A video also resurfaced of him knowing that his son, King, who is like 15 I believe, is sexually active. And he didn't look pleased. He laughed it off, but he didn't really do anything about it. And he also mentioned in a video, I don't want any of my children having sex before it's time for them. But who's to say when it is time? However, I will feel different about a boy than I will about a girl. And that's just the God honest truth. I don't think there's any father out there who would tell you any different. So I'm going to talk to you what T.I. did right before I tell you what he did wrong. So T.I. has a right to protect his daughter. I think parents should protect their children, whether it's a boy or a girl. I mean, that's the kid that you are responsible for. And children and kids and teenagers don't always know what they're doing when it comes to sex because either they haven't had experience or they just haven't been taught properly. So children should obey their parents, and I mean occasionally, like if there's a case where parents are being abusive, of course, like I feel like the obedience part is a little bit tricky. But in general, when your parents have rules and you live under the roof, you should respect that and you should follow their command because they are the authority and you are not. And one day when you're a parent, you will become the authority. So I don't think it's wrong for parents to tell their children not to be sexually active under their roof because it is their household and it is their, they can make the rules. They own the house, they pay the bills, this and that. So it's not wrong for that. Parents can't really control it outside of the house, but I don't think there's anything wrong with parents regulating their children's sex lives to a certain degree. Now let's talk about what T.I. did wrong. So the issue that a lot of people are having, and myself included, is not that T.I. is protecting his daughter by checking to see if she's a virgin, is the fact that he has this double standard and it's an issue of control over the lives of the women in his life. I don't know if that made sense. So what I said about him and his son, he cares about his daughter's virginity, but he doesn't care about his son's virginity. His son's not a virgin anymore. He's a hypocrite, and he's right. A lot of men, that quote I read you that he said, a lot of men think like that because a lot of men know how they were when they were young boys, when they were 18 years old, the way they thought about women, the way they talked about women, the way they treated women, the way they used women. And granted, not all men are like this. There's a lot of great men out there who care about women and wouldn't do anything like that. But there's the men who are really overprotective of their daughters are usually the men who usually were the man that they don't want their daughters to date because of the way they treated women. And so I saw a lot of comments, and I think it's true, is T.I. is honestly trying to protect his daughter from men like him. It's a little bit weird taking your daughter to the gynecologist because, first of all, I think that's something a mother should do. I haven't even had my first gynecologist appointment and I'm like 20. He should have never spoke about that in public. Like, we don't need to know that. I'm kind of glad we do because we can talk about this and see how this is still a problem, how parents still treat like their daughters and sons differently when it comes to sex. He's holding a double standard for his children, and I am not here for that. And I'm gonna say it loud and clear for the people in the back who can't hear me. I am not here for that! Parents are supposed to live by example. You teach your kids principles, you teach your kids morals, you teach them how to live a successful and beneficial, fruitful life. And you have faith and trust in your teachings that they will follow them. Now, if they still live in your house and they disobey your rules and they disobey your teachings, then I guess you can talk about punishment. If you aren't living as an example as a parent and you're teaching your kids the opposite of, you're preaching the opposite of what you do, then how are your kids supposed to see how to live out your teachings? Because you're being hypocritical. Kids see, if you teach them not to steal and they see you stealing, well, they say, oh, my dad's stealing, like it's okay for me to steal. And the same thing applies when it comes to sex. A lot of parents want their kids to wait till marriage, but you know they didn't wait till marriage. And I know it's hard to wait till marriage, but it's just like, and I know parents are going to argue, well, parents are hypocritical and they want the better for their children. That's fine and everything, but are you really going to have a double standard in your household based off of this? Wouldn't you want the best for both of your kids? T.I. should be worried because he was not a good representation of what a man is. And he's worried because he knows that. The way he talks about women in his music, the way women are dressed in his music, the way he treats his wife and talks about his wife, and the way he's talked about his 18-year-old daughter just goes to show you what kind of man he is. He is punishing his daughter for his sins and for the sins of other men and their desires. The problem with this is when parents continue this double standard, it creates resentment in daughters towards their parents and towards their brothers because they see that their brother can have a girlfriend at a young age. They see that their brother can be sexually active. They see that their brother can go on dates, and they see that their brother can hang out at their girlfriend's house. They can see that they can hang out with the door closed. They see that their brother can hang out without supervision. And then parents are like to the girls, their daughters, you can't date until you're married. You better stay at home. You can't go to your boyfriend's house. You gotta be here. I gotta supervise you. Send your brother on the date with you. It creates resentment because you're not being treated as equal in your own household. When all of the boys in the house have that freedom and independence and the girls don't, it makes the girls hate their family. And it makes the girls feel like when they leave that situation, they go all out, they go crazy because they didn't have that type of freedom. They didn't have that type of stuff in college. And I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying that's what happens. Parents indirectly tie their daughter's worth to their virginity because they are ashamed. They are disappointed when she loses it. But on the flip side, they are proud and happy and over ecstatic, and they laugh when their son loses his virginity before marriage. And it's true, women have more to lose when it comes to casual sex encounters. And parents know this, and that's why they're worried. But I have a question for all you parents out there who do this, and just society in general. Why can't parents raise the same standard for their sons too? Life's not fair? Well, duh, we all know that, but why does your household have to be run unfairly? If virginity is something that's important to you as a parent for your kids to hold, and you think that it's going to help them have a better lifestyle and have better relationships in the future, do you not care about your son? Apply that to him too. Why do women have to be the only gatekeepers to sex? Why? Why? Why do you expect women to stay pure when you're not? Why are parents not teaching their son the importance of waiting till marriage? Why are not parents teaching their sons how to treat a woman other than a sexual object? If fathers are so concerned with their daughters meeting men like them that they have to be overprotective over their lives and tie that their worth is to their virginity, then wouldn't you think that they would teach their sons that waiting till marriage is beneficial and that it's a beautiful thing, and that women are more than just for sex? Wouldn't you think that they would teach their sons not to behave like they did when they were young? But they don't, because they support this double standard. Let's talk about the excuses to these questions. Men can't get pregnant. Men's social reputation doesn't get damaged. Sleeping around doesn't impact men as much as it does women. Men's pair bonding is not as weak as women's. Men are made to be polygamous and spread their seed. That's actually factual. I mean, a lot of that is true, so I'm not disagreeing with that. But here's the thing, women can't get pregnant without a man. It takes two people to tango like it takes two people to have sex. Women have their social reputation tarnished and damaged because men drag their name through the dirt by bragging about who they slept with, how they slept with them, and whatnot. For men to say, oh, a woman's social reputation is damaged, that's because of men. Yes, there's women that call other women sluts, but when they call women sluts and whores, it's a different insult. I haven't really done my research on this because I spent too much time just preparing for this video, but men and women both experience soul ties and pair bonding when it comes to sex and relationships. I can't really say, I don't really have the science to back it up one way or the other, so I'm not going to say that women are weaker in this category or equal to men. But I have to say this, the fact that men and women both experience soul ties and pair bonding is enough of a good excuse to say that, hey, like, it's important to just have one partner because you become attached. I wonder why sleeping around impacts men less. Maybe it's because there's a lot of deadbeat fathers out there and who neglect their responsibility to take care of the woman that they impregnated and the child that they helped conceive. I think women should choose wisely when it comes to men, and part of it is their fault when they choose such a crappy dude. But men are always blaming women for this fault. Men are always blaming them for being left as a single mother, for always getting pregnant, for this and that, when it's honestly both parties' fault. And I'm going to address women in a separate video when it comes to virginity. We're talking about men in this one. People tend to pick a partner that resembles their opposite sex parent. For example, a lot of girls are raised without a father. A lot of girls are raised with a father that's abusive, a father that doesn't treat them like a man should or like a father should. So they grew up with this representation and this example of what a man is and how a man should treat them, and they're gonna pick a partner that is like their father, and they're gonna go through that abusive cycle all over again because some women, and they think that that's what they deserve, they think that that's the only, like, that's what only a man is, when that's not the case, and they think that, like, they don't deserve better. And the same thing goes for boys who have deadbeat mothers who aren't in their life or who are abusive. So conclusion, parents, raise your standards high like you do for your girls, for your sons, when it comes to sex. Stop being hypocrites, especially you fathers. And parents, start living by example. It's things like this that make me wish I was never born, because it gets me so angry. Yeah, stay tuned for part 2, which is going to be about men wanting virgins but not wanting to wait for them. And then my third part is going to be addressing that women should wait till marriage. So thank you for watching this video. If only you knew. So yeah, I'm gonna go now so I can edit this other video. So bye.